Welcome, everyone. This morning, we're going to spend a few minutes and do an overview of Smart Money Alliance, a 501c3 nonprofit. And as it states there, we've received grant funding to help address both personal and business financial literacy through some educational topics and some innovative programs. And so I wanted to spend a few minutes with everyone this morning and make sure that we're familiar with the different resources that exist, because some of the new programs are just that, they're new. So let's start at the top of the website that we're seeing here and work our way down. So first of all, personal financial literacy is important. I think, as you know, I was a former college professor and also taught at a high school prior to that. Actually taught a financial literacy class to high school seniors. It is so important, and it's often overlooked. Many people in our society don't have necessarily a good firm footing in some of the key concepts and principles that might allow them to be more financially successful and avoid some mistakes that we often see. The curriculum on the personal side, we'll get to the business side next, is based around a 6-element approach: debt management, cash flow, creating and maintaining an emergency fund. And if you look in the paper or online, it suggests that very many, I think around 40% of Americans, don't even have 1 month of savings. Proper protection, building wealth, growing money, and preserving wealth. So those are the 6 key principles of our financial literacy curriculum. And then we have a number of modules that you'll see listed here. We have our Smart Money Overview. We have a topic on banking. Banking, how you work with your bank makes such a difference. We have a client that we were working with yesterday that hit a little bit of a tight spot, and what he needed was just a $25,000 quick loan. And we were able to facilitate that through a bank whereby it was self-reported income. And within 48 hours, that money was deposited into his account. So it's not just saying, well, I know what a bank is, what else is there to talk about? It's how you work with your bank that makes a difference in many cases if you have immediate access to capital. We're going to talk about borrowing basics in a different topic, money matters, pay yourself first, which is really all about saving, but with the concept of paying yourself first. Keeping it safe in terms of your rights and protecting yourself. A session on credit, and that had a deeper dive into how personal credit works and some strategies that are often not understood of how to legally and ethically manipulate that to improve your personal credit. And then financial recovery, when bad things happen, how to recover from that. So these are topics that are taught by our branch managers. Next, we have business financial literacy. Business financial literacy, to no surprise, is addressing financial literacy topics for entrepreneurs. They could be pre-launch, startup, or existing, and you'll see as we go through this, there's different topics that might apply to some entrepreneurs, but would be irrelevant to others based upon where they're at in their business model. So certainly our access to capital is our flagship presentation. Is owning a good business for you? It's an overview that's great for people that are considering starting a business, but helping them understand some of the expectation demands that are involved with being a small business owner that they might not have considered. So obviously, if it's already an existing business owner, they're probably not going to want to sit in on that, but the others get into what's applicable to startups or beyond, managing cash flow, different organizational types in terms of really understanding the difference between LLCs and C Corps and S Corps and sole proprietorships. And people talk about pass-through income being great, but really, is it? What's the consequence? Time management, financial management, record keeping. And record keeping includes using some sort of software or service to track your revenue and expenses. I'll make reference to QuickBooks, not that we have any reference to QuickBooks, but that type of software is so essential because when we're doing that, it does increase our access to capital because we can generate the reports that lenders or investors might want to see. Again, more on small business banking that has some similarity to what we just talked about a moment ago, how to really work with your bank. I find that most small business owners don't, and they may not be working with the right bank, frankly. Business planning, and business planning sounds kind of vague and irrelevant, but it dovetails into, we all need to have a business plan. We need to have a written business plan because that helps us vet through our idea, confirm that it will be viable, economically viable. And if we are going to try to access capital, that business plan is crucial to be able to share your business model with others. Business credit, which is much different than personal credit, risk management, insurance, tax planning and reporting, and then even exit planning, selling your business. And so again, these are modules that are taught by our branch managers. Now, so that takes us from education into more of some programs that we offer, and one of which is called a 4-week access to capital program. And it is available in a variety of different languages. There's an overview YouTube, which you can watch there if you would like. But it's a 4-week process that's really built around 2 key steps. And I should say that it was built by SBA and SBDC advisors, score mentors, and business bankers. But specifically, we're going to build a loan and or an investor package. And so we identify what's included in that. Well, we need to have a 1-page pitch sheet, because in some cases that's the only opportunity we have to make that first introduction, kind of like that 30-second elevator speech that we might have learned about when we were learning public speaking in high school. We're going to create an executive summary. We're going to dig into an opportunity description that identifies what's the problem that exists in the marketplace, what is our solution to that problem, who is our target market, and a competitive analysis. We're going to talk about how we're going to execute in terms of our marketing plan, our sales plan, our operations, identify key milestones. We're going to include in the business plan company information, who are the owners, who's the management team, who's the advisors. And again, maybe this is a bit redundant, but every small business should have an advisory team. And for instance, your banker should be one of your informal advisors. Financial plan, we need to identify our key assumptions, which is crucial. Our revenue projections, our expense projections, thus our profitability projections. What we want to use additional funding for if we're trying to raise capital, and where we envision it coming from. It's going to include financial statements, including income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. Industry-specific benchmarking is so important, and you've heard us mention this probably in some of our other trainings. The last thing that you want to do, or a small business wants to do, is put together some projections that seem completely disconnected with the economic reality. So if they're projecting such high profitability numbers, it's completely inconsistent with their industry and benchmarks that the bank is going to use in evaluating them, then they lose credibility. And so we need to be very diligent in that. And we can even integrate in your data from QuickBooks or similar service, so it's a live, breathing, ongoing document, not just a business plan that's saved to your hard drive or printed out and sitting in a drawer somewhere. So it's 10 business days to knock out the package, and then we go to the capital match. And so that's where we're looking at, based upon the client's circumstances, what's the best type of capital for them. This number, or this list, continues to grow, but these are a number of lenders and extenders of credit that have agreed to extend credit under the EIN of the business, which is obviously what is preferable. So with that, that is the 4-week access to capital program, and individuals that are interested in that, just simply click on the link. It comes up with the Contact Us page, and then of course they fill the form out and click the top button. All right, so that was the 4-week access to capital program. That's suitable for pre-launch, startup, and existing businesses. If they don't have a business plan and financial projections in place, they're looking for capital, but they need guidance of what the right type of capital is based upon their circumstances. This is a great offering. And the way that it's positioned with the grant subsidy, it's only $99 up front to enroll. Now, it's actually 4 payments of $99 in total, but it's only $99 to get started. So that makes it very affordable for pretty much anyone. All right, so then that takes us to our new flagship program, which is the SBA Express Program. As you may know, the 3 of us that co-founded the organization all previously worked for the SBA. I personally did until July 5th of 2019. And so with the SBA Express Program, we believe that a working capital loan guaranteed by the SBA is one of the most extraordinary opportunities to help raise capital for a small business. Now, it may only be part of the overall capital raise. It may not be in its entirety, but it's just so valuable. And some of the highlights are listed in this paragraph. It has low interest rates, so it makes it affordable. The credit score requirements are relaxed. We only need a 165 FICO SBSS to qualify. Long repayment term, specifically 120 months, 10 years to repay it, so that keeps the payments low. Turns around very quickly. The primary lenders that we go through are shooting for 10 calendar days from the time of application until the time of funding. And usually it's an immediate, within the same day, immediate response in terms of pre-approval or not. What's really nice is that startups can qualify. So often people are misled and they think, well, to get an SBA loan, you have to have been in business at least 2 years, or you have to show positive cash flow in your business. And that's just, it's not true. It's not true. So this may not be the entire capital raise that a small business needs, but it certainly probably could be a valuable part of that. We list out the requirements here, which are pretty limited. It is a grant subsidized program, but it is not a free program. So there is a deposit that covers the part of the cost of getting the client set up and onboarded and putting everything together. And then there is a small revenue share based upon the capital raise. And so some people are fine with that. Some don't like it, but there is just under a 2% performance fee attached for the capital raise under this program. And so there is a cost of capital, right? Because there's professionals helping you through the process. And so while it's grant subsidized, it's much cheaper than elsewhere, or it would be otherwise. It's not free. And to use just a quick mathematical formula, if we did get a client $150,000 SBA Express loan, their total cost would be less than $5,000, and that's considering the deposit and the performance fee, which is paid after the capital raise. So just for clarity, it includes counseling and education, and we talked about some of those topics up here a few minutes ago. And then this outlines some of the reasons why a client might want to enroll in the SBA Express program. And then if they choose to do so, they can fill out this inquiry form, and then we'll send them a DocuSign agreement that puts all this into writing so we can get started. All right, workshops are an important part of what we do. Now, prior to the health pandemic that we've had, we were doing a lot of workshops at churches and chambers and co-working spaces in the community. That's moved more online recently, but our real preference is to do local community-based education. And we do that with our what we call branch managers. And our branch managers are local professionals in their community. And many times they're already involved with business-to-business transactions. Some are CPAs, some are insurance and financial professionals. They come from different backgrounds, but they have a real passion about helping small businesses. And so it's them that go out and teach these personal and business financial literacy topics through workshops. And so you may want to become one of our branch managers and help us go teach and get paid to help clients. Or you may in fact be a prospective host where you have a sphere of influence of small businesses or individuals, and you might like to allow us to come in and educate, which would be great as well. And you can see the opportunity to let us know you're interested in that. The career opportunities, we have regional directors, and of course there's no cost to be a regional director. Regional directors are our leadership team, and they're helping us put together a national network of branch offices. We'll eventually have about 1,000 branch offices serving communities nationwide. Second to last, we have the funding proposal, and this is really maybe the best kept secret. In some cases, small businesses just don't know where to go, and we can start by giving them a free funding proposal. And so with that being said, they can come here and click on for a free funding proposal. It'll pull up, and we'll start with a soft credit pull. A soft credit pull is important because it allows us to understand an important element of their credibility. Now, what you and I know is if we're going after business funding, personal credit is not as important as that loan package. However, it is an element, and so that's where we'll start. And again, there's no cost for someone to get a funding proposal, and there's no obligation. Last on the website is the Contact Us page. We office in the Chamber of Commerce building. We occupy the entire second floor. We were invited to come in and work collaboratively in this community. And our phone number, which is normally answered live 7 days a week with expanded hours, and then our email address and a general Contact Us form that lets us know who you are and how we might be able to assist. So with that in summary, we are a nonprofit, a 501c3 designed to assist in improving financial literacy, both of individuals and small businesses. We realize that there are some gaps in the marketplace whereby small businesses are not able to access the capital that they want or need. And so that's where the 4-week access to capital program comes in, as well as the SBA Express Program. So with that, I certainly hope that we have an opportunity to assist you and collaborate. And I'll end the recording now, and we'll get started with your questions. Thank you.